What's up, guys? Devil Dog Gamer here, and the computer is back up and running. I got new monitors, still waiting on a desk and a few other things, but we're able to finally get back and play some games in 1440 goodness and not the 720p monitor that I had to use for the past couple of days. And with it, we're now playing Delta Force. This has probably been one of the most anticipated releases this year for a lot of people. If you haven't seen this game before, it is a 10-cent game. Boo, I know, we'll talk more about it. But it is a Battlefield kind of clone and a COD DMZ. We're not going to talk about the extraction too much right now. We're going to have its own separate video on the DMZ extraction mode. But we're talking a bit about the Battlefield clone for this. Now, for those of you who have the attention span of a squirrel or a gnat, I'm just going to get downright to say it. It's kind of meh. I was hoping for a lot more from this, but you can clone Battlefield all you want and steal things from so many different games and try to pack them into one, but you're still not going to beat Battlefield, especially when you make it a hero shooter, which is the thing that everyone hated about the last Battlefield as it is. That being said, this is free to play, and the only thing you lose from playing this if you spend zero money is your time. But be warned, this does have a very intrusive kernel level anti-cheat that is extremely hard to get off your system whenever you do uninstall it. I didn't know until it was too late. And they have some really weird requirements about the hacking and things like that. Like in the thing they actually say you can't have a USB drive installed. It's kind of weird. If you're kind of on the fence about this because it is Chinese and there's a very intrusive kernel level anti-cheat in it, I don't blame you, especially the way the world is. The last thing you need is you becoming a zero-day exploit during a war or something like that. I totally get it. But it is free to play, so if you don't mind that, the only thing you lose is your time. I don't necessarily think that Delta Force does anything wrong in trying to emulate Battlefield. Battlefield dropped the ball in the last one, and honestly, they have the 10-cent money. They can do it. They can pump out all the money into the creators, get this thing rolling, and people are going to eat it up because it is free to play. They do a really good job with weapon customization. They basically take what Call of Duty has done in the past with being able to tweak guns, kind of throw it to 11, give you a ton of different weapon parts to go through, and I really do enjoy that, trying to build the guns, find the meta on the different items. But at the same time, almost every single gun is competitive, or just the base guns of like the CAR-15 and the AK-74U are just absolute laser beams. I'm getting like destroyed in 3 hits from like 200 meters away with a 74U or a CAR-15. There almost seems to be really no bad weapons, and all of them are good, and you just die really quick because the time to kill is extremely short. And, you know, with the hero abilities, you're always catching damage somewhere here and there because people throwing their abilities everywhere. And the guns don't really feel that unique. They all do the same thing. They feel like they carry the same damage, the same low recoil, and it just kind of turns into you getting beamed across the entire map majority of the time. One thing I do like is the map design. I like it and I kind of hate it at the same time. It is 64 players, and some of the maps are really well put together, but some of them can quickly turn into just a meat grinder where you're stuck and you're getting destroyed and murdered. There were multiple times, and I'm not going to dig through all the clips, but where I would spawn, immediately get shot and killed, or I would come out in a vehicle like a helicopter in the air, and I'm immediately getting shot before I even have time to touch my keyboard. And these maps, the way they're designed, if you get on a bad team, you will get like spawn trapped and spawn killed quite a few times. That's not spawning on like friendlies. That's spawning literally on your spawn. Not the flag, but like, hey, I'm going back to base. Spawn, and you're getting demolished. Some of the maps are good. Some of the maps are very choke pointy and will give you a bad day. Kind of hoping they relook at some of these maps, but I highly doubt it. The vehicles, though, are not really anything too crazy. They have the helicopters, they have the Apache, they have the tanks, they have the ground vehicles. There's enough stuff to counter them from the infantry. They don't feel overpowered, and, you know, you can do some really crazy games with it and get some stuff done, vehicle battles, but you do feel like they are pretty balanced. I gotta say, it's probably one of the most balanced things I've seen in a game. The vehicles aren't very overpowered. You can shoot them down pretty easily. You can destroy tanks pretty easily. I do feel like it is a hint a little bit of World War III in here. Rest in peace, World War III. With some of the call-ins that you can get, some of the vehicles, the way they handle, it does feel World War III-ish in a way. So they're kind of pulling from a bunch of different genres of things that were you know, that worked but didn't, and with Tencent money and backing, they can make it work in this aspect. But moving back into the gunplay, it is a quick time to kill. You can die in easily 3 shots to the chest. There are a few times where I've had some wonky stuff where I don't know if it was ping or if it was connection or hacks, who knows. But it's a new game, free to play, you never know what you're going to encounter. But were some times where people were doing some funky stuff, jumping through the air, doing some craziness. The gunplay isn't really anything special. The recoil is just recoil. It feels like Call of Duty. They didn't really do anything crazy with it, and I feel like at times the attachments on the guns don't even matter because I was doing better with a stock gun than I was with anything I added to it. I will say this though, for it being Tencent and having pretty much all the money in the world to do whatever the hell they want with, they are being incredibly cheap. I got invited into the creator program where you can sign up for to make sponsored videos, and I was like, I didn't plan on doing any sponsored stuff. And this is kind of one thing I did want to talk about. They're offering, if you get 1 million views on a video, they'll give you $1,500. For one, that is incredibly below market value for a 1 million view video if you're a creator that can deliver that. Please don't sign up for this, by the way. And then if you got like 1,000 views, maybe 10 creators that submitted it would get $50. Being super cheap for having the kind of budget that they have, which is surprising and kind of shocking for me. For Delta Force, I don't overall hate this game, and I don't love this game. I'm somewhere completely in the middle with it. Is it a good time waster? Yeah, I think so. Is it going to kill Battlefield? Fucking hell no. No way. If the next Battlefield turns out to be what they're kind of hyping it up to be, like a return to the series, and they've learned their lessons, everyone's going to stop playing this when that Battlefield comes out. This will end up like a World War III. I'm not sure about sustainability with this game because, for one, everyone doesn't like the kernel level anti-cheats, especially from Tencent. And what do you do with it? It's a season pass. How do you continue to make money? People don't really want to buy weapon skins. They really don't. What do you do with this? Like, right now, I feel like I have enough fun wasting time with it and playing it as intended. It's a Battlefield while we wait for a Battlefield, is basically what I think of this as. The gameplay isn't stellar. The vehicles aren't that crazy, nothing to write home about. The maps are hit or miss here and there. I think it's the bare minimum of what we would call like a Battlefield clone. I think they just took a lot of stuff from a lot of things, wrapped it up into a free-to-play game, used their deep pockets to get it pushed out fast because they ended up moving the release date forward, so they pushed it up and got it out there to the masses. Do I think it's worth your time? Yeah, if you don't mind the kernel level. There's not much to play right now, to be honest, and probably not for the next 6 months or until Kingdom Come Deliverance. But it's not going to replace Battlefield. It's probably not going to be a thing in the next year and a half that you're seeing dominating the charts. It's a fun little time waster, and that's about all it really is. Kind of disappointed, expected more, but after playing the beta, I kind of saw the writing on the wall with this. But I want to know, guys, what do you think about Delta Force? Do you think that this is here to stay? Does it kill Battlefield, or is it just kind of meh?